Hello everyone, myself Muskan and I am studying grade 8. So, welcome to the No Fear of Studies Muskan's Corner channel. Okay, so today I would like to explain Class 8 Science Lesson 1 Crop Production and Management. Okay, so in this lesson I would like to explain weeding and crop protection topic. Okay, so today I would like to explain weeding and crop protection topic. Okay. So here's I have inserted a pic. So here's we can know that how's the weeding, what's the meaning of the weeding and the crop protection is. Okay, so in this lesson we are going to learn what is weeding and the disadvantages and the advantages of the weeding. Okay, so today we are going to learn this all the things. Okay. Okay, so what are the weeds? Wait a second, guys. What are the weedings? I mean, what are the weeds? Weeds. Yes. Okay, I got the point. So, weeds are the undesirable plants grown along with the crops. Okay, so weeds are the undesirable plants or the unwanted plants which is grown along with the crops. Okay, so weeds are known as unwanted plants, and these plants are grown upon the crops or the crops which are planted by the farmers. Okay, so they grow where the seeds aren't sown, where the plants are not necessary to the farmers or humans. Okay, so so they grow the crops. I mean, if they need to grow wheat crops or rice crops, they'll grow in an area or in an agricultural land. Okay, but there doesn't sow the wheat seeds. For example, let us take the grass. Okay, so grass is a weed, and but they doesn't sow the seeds in the soil. They doesn't sow the seeds of the grass in the soil. Okay, so that's what they doesn't sown in the soil, but those crops are directly grown upon the crops. Okay, so why these weeds are known as unwanted plants and why these weeds should be removed? Because these weeds will absorb the more sunlight and air, okay, water and even the nutrients. Okay, so like this, if the weeds absorb, crops cannot absorb, because upon the crops the weeds are grown and they are challenging each by itself, by each they're challenging and they're absorbing the all the nutrients and the other water, sunlight and the water which is getting. Okay, so like this, these weeds are also known as the these weeds are not the crops which we eat in our daily routine. Okay, so crops are the main thing which grows in the agricultural lands, but weeds are the unwanted plants, or we doesn't need those weeds. Okay, so that's what farmers need to remove the weeds from the field. Okay, so here's the examples, and the examples are amaranthus, okay, which is also known as chowline. Wild oat. Wild oat looks like grass, but it's not exact like grass. Okay, so chenopodium, which is also known as the bhatua, and okay, so etc. So these are the examples of weeds which is grown upon the crops or the besides of the crops. Okay, so here's I have inserted a picture, and this is the first weed, and this weed is known as amaranthus. Okay, so this is the example of the amaranthus. So this is the second picture, and this picture is the wild oat. Okay, these are the plants which grow upon the crops, and these crops are also known as the unwanted plants. That's what farmers need to cut down these plants. Okay, so that these crops cannot be absorbed, these all things, and hence the plants can absorb equally with, and they'll grow with good, with healthy and productively. Okay, so this is the third picture is the grass, and grass looks like this, amaranthus looks like this, and the wild oat looks like that. Okay. Okay. So this is so these are the examples which are known as the weeds, and they grow upon the crops. Okay, so these weeds are need not to be grown in the field, even though the farmers doesn't sow the seeds, and they'll take care a lot to the place, but uh, unexpectedly after few days these plants can be seen upon the crops. Okay, so if the farmers have seen these crops, they immediately should be removed. Okay, the immediately should be removed, so that the crops can, or the plants in the agricultural field can absorb equally. Okay, so weeds need to be removed by the farmers. Yes, so farmers work is to remove the weeds, grow the, so farmers, here's the main thing, what's the duty of the farmers duty is to grow the crops very healthily and productively with good and efficiently. Okay, so for doing like this, if the weeds are growing upon them, the farmers need to remove it, otherwise the plants doesn't grow healthily, and thus it may result few of the crops may die, or and the few of the crops may be harvested. Okay, so like that farmers need to immediately should be removed from the field. Okay, so some of them is very poisonous to human beings and animals and other living organisms. Yes, this is the correct point. I'll give the thumbs up to this point, because if these crops will grow until the harvesting is done, then these weeds, the poisonous which is present in the, or the, okay, so these present in the weeds, and that weeds pass to the these, so these crops will absorb that poisonous things, and if we intake that crops, I mean if we intake that food in it, then we may, the poisonous goes into our body. Okay, so like this it may result. Okay, so poison. Okay, so the process of removing weeds is called weeding. Okay, so these weeds is nothing but the undesirable plants or unwanted plants which is grown upon the crops. Okay, so the removal of weeds is known as the weeding. Okay, for example, before I have previous videos I have discussed about the ploughing is nothing but the process of loosening and turning the soil is known as ploughing. Okay, like the turning, weeding is nothing but process of removing weeds. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so weeding can be done either manually or using chemicals called weedicides. Okay, so weeding or the removing the weeds, how to remove these weeds, so the process of weeding can be done either by using manual is nothing but using the agricultural implements or the tools, or either by using with their hands. Okay, so this is known as manually, or using chemicals, either the chemicals, not the farmers can also use the chemicals which these chemicals helps to kill these weeds. Okay, so these chemicals are also known as weedicides. Okay, so I'll discuss it later in this video only. At the end of it I'll discuss about it. Okay, so here's I have inserted a picture. So this here's we can observe the two bottles. Okay, so these bottles, okay, these bottles are contain chemicals, and hence these chemicals are all these weedicides. So these two bottles are the weedicides, and these chemicals are used in the farm. Not only these chemicals but also another different chemicals have invented by the scientist farmers. Okay, so those weedicides are used in the farm, okay, or the agriculture field. So manual weeding. So coming to the manual weeding. So how is the manual weeding is done? So manual weeding, okay, so weeds can be uprooted either with hand or with the help of the implements such as harrow, trowel and hoe. Okay, so these three are the implements which are used to cut down these weeds. Okay, so these implements are also very useful to the farmers, because these implements also helps to cut down the weeds. Okay, so weeds can be done either by using the hands nor by using these agricultural implements like harrow, trowel and hoe. Okay, so here's the first picture, we can observe it clearly. Okay, I'll zoom it. Okay, so this is known as the trowel. This is known as the trowel. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. This is known as the harrow. What's known? Harrow. Okay, so next picture, this is known as the trowel. Okay, I'll zoom in. So this is known as the trowel. So first picture is harrow and the second picture is trowel, and the third picture is hoe. Okay, so these three are the implements which is used in the agriculture field. Okay, so I think you guys have understand how these three implements looks like. Okay, so these implements are used in the farmers use these implements in the farm, okay, to cut down these weeds. Okay, so these implements are very helpful to the farmers. Okay, so now coming to the advantages of manual weeding, means positive positive points about of manual weeding. Okay, so helps, the first advantage of manual weeding is helps to remove the weeds. Okay, so this manual weeding also helps to remove the weeds. Okay, so these implements are very helpful, and hence these implements also helps to remove the weeds. Okay, so second advantage is, if manual weeding is done, then the plants can absorb freely of nutrients, water, air and even sunlight. Okay, so if the manual weeding is done, or if there's the removal of weeding process is done, after this process the plants can absorb the freely like nutrients, water, sunlight and even the air. Okay, so these implements, okay, so these things by the plants can absorb easily and freely. Okay, so the third advantage is, so if this method is applied in the field, the crops also being cut down with weeds. Okay, so if this method also forced onto it or action onto it or targeting on the fields, like if the farmers use weather trowel, or farmers can use the hoe, or farmers can use the trowel, harrow or hoe, if the farmers can use, or using by hand also they can do. So if this is the best method for doing, but sometimes the crops also being removed with the weeds. Okay, by mistakenly or unexpectedly or accidentally, the farmers can also remove the crops from the soil, or these implements accidentally it also removes some of the crops from the soil. Okay, so this method is also doesn't supported by the sociality or and the farmers also. Okay, so this method is very helpful, but it also removes the crops which is grown in the field or the agricultural field. Okay, so this is about the advantages of the manual weeding. Okay, so now coming to the disadvantage of the manual weeding, or negative impacts on manual weeding. Okay, so the first disadvantage on manual weeding is, may even lead to accidental removal of desired crops. Yes, before I have discussed about it. So accidentally or unexpectedly, so these implements may also cut down the desired crops. Desired crops is nothing but necessary crops or the healthy crops like wheat, barley and like fruits, vegetables. Okay, so like this. Okay, so okay, I'm getting bored by explaining, but I love to explain to you guys because I love to share my experience and my learning skills to you guys so that you guys can understand how my skills are nice. So if you like it, my way of teaching and the points which I've explained in these all videos, so please leave a comment so that I can understand. So if you want to need if you guys need any topic, means if I should explain that topic or this topic, you please leave a comment down so that I'll read it. I mean, I'll see which I should explain, and after reading that comment, I'll explain to you. I'll start a video with that topic and I'll explain to you guys. Okay, so I'll also helpful in this. So please, if you're very difficulty in any topic, just leave a comment so that I'll manage it and I'll post that video before one day. Okay, so second disadvantage is the implements are made of iron and need to prevent rust on it. Okay, so these implements or the agricultural implements is made with iron. Okay, so these implements made with iron. Okay, so sometimes the iron may be rust. So this rusting of iron, if the rust iron is used in the farm, okay, so many problems, not so many problems, few problems may be occurred. Okay, so the farmers need to prevent the rust of the iron. Okay, so the third disadvantage point is difficult if the soil is not moist and loose. Okay, so if the soil is not loose and it's not moist, then it also very difficult to remove the weeds from the soil. Okay, so like that, farmers need to plough or loosen the soil very freely until the soil loosens very loosely. Okay, so but also these implements are also sometimes it may also not be cannot be forced onto it. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of the manual weeding. Okay, I think you guys have understood. I think you guys understand. I don't know about it. If you guys doesn't understand whatever I've explained, just to leave a comment so that I'll increase my way of teaching to you guys. Okay, so now coming to the using weedicides. So before we have discussed about the manual weeding, or means manual weeding is nothing but it's the process of weeding which is done either by hands nor by using agricultural implements like trowel, hoe or harrow. Okay, so the first point is a weedicide is a chemical that is used to destroy the weeds. Okay, so weedicide is nothing but it's a chemical like substance which helps to remove or destroy these weeds. Okay, so if this chemical is applied to the weeds, then the weeds immediately they'll die, and hence it results that there is 0% weed plants present in the agricultural field. Okay, so weedicides destroy the weeds. Yes, so weedicides, if they apply onto the weeds, I mean, if weedicides or the chemical substances, if the farmers apply onto the weeds, so these weeds can be destroyed. Okay, so this third. Okay, so I think you guys have understand. I don't know that whether you guys have understood or not. Okay, I'll go on to it. Okay, sometimes like these problems will occur. Okay. So the examples of the weedicides or the chemicals are diazepam, metachlor, cyzazine. So these three are the examples of the chemical substances, and these chemical substances helps to destroy the weeds or damage the weeds. Okay, so here's I've inserted a picture. So the substances which is releasing by the farmers, those substances are the weedicides. So here's, wait a second guys, oh my god, I went somewhere. So wait a second guys. Okay, So I'll draw it. So here's we can observe the pipes which is releasing some chemical substances, and those chemical substances are weedicides. Okay, actually I'm not getting of typing that one, hence I'll leave it. Okay, I'll leave it about the topic. Okay, so the red circle which have circle around it, that is the chemical substances which is released by these containers. Okay, it has connected to a pipeline, and this pipeline will releases some chemical substances. Okay, now I'll off this drawing option, so I'll come to the next topic. So even animals, so not only these weeds, but also the animals such as the rats and insects, and even the birds such as the crow and etc. also damage these crops. Okay, so I think you guys have seen sometimes if you go it outside like village, or if you visit any place which is full of greenery, then you guys can see a few of the animals which is moving around the fields. Okay, so we cannot see those animals because it present inside the crops. Okay, only farmers can see. Not only farmers, we can also see, but in some situations we can observe those animals. But the farmers always they can feel that few animals is roaming here and there, because they have the great sense, because they have habituated now by planting and hearing the sounds of the animals. They have habituated. Okay, so like that farmers can know where these animals roaming around. But these animals will damage, means they'll eat these. For example, if the farmers have planted like what we take the topic. Okay, let us take as the what else. Okay, we'll take the, for example, the farmers have planted a bean crop. Okay, bean crop in a field. Okay, so these animals, what they does, so after it has grown and the vegetables growing have started, then these animals go to there and they'll grab some okay, they'll grab some beans with a silently, and they'll go to their original houses or to their houses. Okay, so like this it's happening, but the farmers efforts also so many times it was losing, means if they have to keep more effort onto the fields. Okay, so if they keep more effort onto the agricultural land, then only the crops can grow more healthily and productively. Okay, so but these animals are and even the birds such as crow are damaging these crops. So how to kill these animals? So these animals are also known as pests. So pests is nothing but the animals which damage the crops which is grown by the farmers. Okay, so the most of these pests can be destroyed. How can be destroyed? I will read. So most of these pests can be destroyed by using the chemicals called pesticides. Okay, so these chemicals are removed. Okay, these chemicals are removed by okay I'm getting the point wrong. Okay, so these pests or the animals can be destroyed by using the chemicals, means before I have discussed like metachlor, okay, dilapon. So these chemicals are used to destroy these, not I'm I'm sorry, not those chemicals, other chemicals I have discussed really wrong. Okay, the other chemicals which I have didn't discussed about it. So those chemicals are used, and these chemicals are known as the pesticides. Okay, so here's we can observe a man, okay, applying few pesticides just to damage the animals. Okay, so advantages of the weedicides and the pesticides. So what are the advantages of the weedicides and pesticides? Let us explore to it. So first advantage of the weedicides and pesticide is these chemicals are very helpful to the crops. Yes, so these chemicals are very helpful to the crops because these chemicals helps to damage these weedicides and pesticides. Okay, so the second advantage is these chemicals doesn't damage the crops. Okay, if these chemicals forced upon these weedicides and pesticides, upon these animals and weeds, so these chemicals doesn't damage the crops. Okay, their work is to damage the weeds and the animals. Okay, I think so guys have understood. Okay, so these weeds are poured in the container and they spread upon the crops. Okay, so these weeds and pesticides means chemicals are poured in a container and the farmers keep those containers at back like backpack, and they take a pipe and they will spread around the field. Okay, before I have shown a picture that a farmer is spreading around the field these chemicals. Okay, so these chemicals will spread it like that, so that these chemicals almost it reaches to the all the places, and hence these chemicals will does its duty, like means destroying the animals and the weeds. Okay, I think you guys have understood. Okay, the first advantage is pesticides is very helpful, though it can kill the pests in the farm. Okay, so pesticides also very helpful because if these pesticides is forced or applied to in the field, these pesticides what it does, it helps to remove to kill these pests. Okay, so this is like it helps in the okay field. Okay, I think you guys have understood. Okay, so now coming to the disadvantages of the weedicides and the pesticides. Okay, so the first disadvantage of the weedicides and pesticide is, so weedicides and pesticides are very harmful to living organisms. Okay, so these weedicides and pesticides are very harmful to the living organisms. Okay, because if these chemicals are mainly to the farmers, it is very harmful. Okay, so because if these chemicals is okay, what do we say, it's the word is not coming, if these chemicals spreaded outside, these chemicals go to the living organisms, and these chemicals will is very harmful to the living organisms. Okay, I think you guys have understood. Okay, so now second point is weedicides and pesticides also may damage the health of humans, mostly to the farmers. Yes, these weedicides and pesticides also damage the health also. So for example, here's I have inserted a picture. Okay, here's a farmer which he is feeling something else, he's like illness. Okay, so I think you guys have understood this. So this is all about the weedicides and the pesticides. Okay, I'm getting sleep. So this is about the disadvantages of the weedicides and the pesticides. So thank you guys, a big thank you for you all, because you guys have seen my because you guys have observed my video. Okay, so a big thank you for me, for my side, to you guys. Okay, so a big thank you, and please subscribe to my channel. Okay, so please subscribe to my channel and click the bell button for further upcoming videos. Okay, so please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon button. Okay, if you click the bell icon button, then you can see several videos which I am going to post. So every day one topic I will post into the YouTube. Okay, so bye guys, bye, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.